Kind of a screamer, Chris. It's going to be a fast mover for sure, and this is going to take a totally different track than your storm. This one's going to be coming in across the upper Midwest, moving through the middle Mississippi River Valley, and then heading on into parts of the southeastern U.S., where we've been seeing temperatures in the 70s, even a few spots in the 80s. Now, the heaviest accumulations beginning late tomorrow is going to be across parts of the Dakotas, and this is our updated snowfall forecast, and I'm starting to see some of this purple color now heading down into the Siouxland area. So Sioux City could be impacted by this along the I-29 corridor into Des Moines. You can see several inches of snowfall, then down towards the St. Louis area as you head into your Saturday. So our storm now coming in from the Pacific. We've got this upper level disturbance that's going to come in and combine with that cold air, which is going to be in place ahead of it. Combine that with the moisture, kind of just locking everything in place to keep this as a more of a southerly track type system, giving the opportunity for more snow in places a little bit farther on down towards the south. So Friday night we'll watch it in Sioux Falls as well as over towards Yankton into Omaha, Council Bluffs, Ottumwa, Iowa, Kansas City, kind of on the edge here. I don't think you're going to see a lot. St. Louis likely to see a couple of inches of snow out of this, but with borderline temperatures and that sun angle coming down during the day on Saturday, a lot of the accumulation may end up being on the grassy areas. Paducah, Kentucky, Evansville, Indiana, Nashville, Tennessee, you're coming in on Saturday night and then stretching into the Carolinas late Saturday and into your Sunday. Raleigh, Charlotte likely getting in a couple of inches of snowfall here, but notice that little tight gradient around Raleigh. I think south side of town is going to have a better chance of snow than the rest, and really the heaviest numbers coming with elevation into the Carolinas. Here's the forecast for Bismarck, where it's a slam dunk, all snow all around. Temperatures bitterly cold with wind chills, sub-zero very likely, so whatever hits is going to be sticking for you in Bismarck. As we head into Des Moines, though, you're going to be looking at temperatures in the 20s, still cold for you, and we're going to watch that move in overnight Friday into the day on Saturday, and kind of ending, I think, by the midday hours. Quick look at St. Louis. There you can see your temperatures right around the freezing mark. We don't think that's going to stick around too long. All right, third storm's the worst. Carl's got it for you. Welcome back to Weather Center Live. If you are a snow lover and you live in the Midwest, you live in the Northeast, and the last couple of months have been disappointing for you, well, we've got a couple of opportunities here now for snow. Colder air is moving in. We've got 3 storm systems that we're tracking. The first one is going to be impacting the Northeast. The morning commute could be ugly by tomorrow morning already. Storm number 2 coming in to the Midwest late tomorrow through the middle Mississippi River Valley, heading down across parts of the deep south. And then storm number 3, take a look at this track. This one's going to be a little closer, hugging the Great Lakes, but we've got some overlap right in here. So the Northeast has 2 chances of getting some snow over the next 3 to 8 days. So welcome back to Weather Center Live. We've got really into the details on this next winter storm in just a second. But first, we want to share some information with you. If you live in D.C. or maybe wherever you are this weekend, we know the weather's going to be quite impactful, and we want you to take the Weather Channel with you. You can get instant access to local news, traffic, and sports, plus weather alerts and live severe weather coverage anytime, anywhere, localized and customized just for you. Stream on. All right, it's time to head over to the lab. Chris Warren has moved over there. Back to Weather Center Live. March came roaring in like a lion and continuing to stay really active here. We've got a big shakeup in our weather pattern, and colder air is going to be invading much of the east. So we're going to be turning from severe weather to winter storms over the next couple of days, with multi different aspects to each of these. Storm number 1 across the Ohio Valley into the Northeast, really impacting the morning commute by tomorrow. Storm number 2 coming from the Midwest and diving down through the middle Mississippi River Valley and then heading out towards the Carolinas. Notice the little snow hole in between here, though any little shift in either of those tracks mean you could possibly get a little snow in Evansville as well as Louisville, Kentucky, if you're hoping for it. Fingers crossed for you. And then last but not least, our storm number 3 is going to be riding across the lower Great Lakes and likely become the strongest of all 3 of these storms. But in the meantime, Chris, we've got 70-degree temperatures and severe weather to talk about right now. Hey, well, quite a difference, I think, between storm number 1 and storm number 3, but they kind of overlap some of the same areas here, Carl.
Yeah, exactly. And this is looking at the total snowfall. So it's a little misleading in that sense, but it gives you this idea that, hey, we could be in for a big storm in the Northeast coming up on Tuesday. And in addition to that, it would be producing all kinds of wind coming out of the Northeast there. So maybe blizzard conditions, serious coastal flooding, all the usual things that you get with a major Northeast snowstorm. storm. And the linchpin in all of this is the cold air that's coming down. You've got this first wave coming through over the weekend, and then this next big area coming down. Very sharp trough there. Yeah.
All the way down to the Gulf Coast. So the cold air is in place. We know that's there. The main thing we got to watch is what? The track?
The track is very important. You know, where is this long wave pattern going to set up? But we do know that there's going to be this big upper low with plenty of cold air, and it's going to have what is called differential advection, where you've got warm and humid air coming up into the system like that, colder air dropping down in here, and then you've also got this tremendous amount of uplift just east of that area of upper level low pressure. So there's the upper low right there, and with the lift, we're starting to develop this coastal low, which is likely going to come up and along the coast. And with a really strong high to the north, we're going to see cold air coming right down into New England. Now that's important because we will see a boundary developing along the coast, a little coastal front at the surface, but also aloft. And so as moisture and warm air comes in and hits that boundary, that slope, that pressure slope, it is lifted, and that creates that mesoscale banding, and it's those bands that really clobber us. Now, where exactly those bands set up, that's really hard to say today.
Right.
And it's even hard to say the day of. I mean, they're just very small features.
But looks likely that those bands could bring the potential of double-digit snowfall out of this.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this could be one for the ages if it sets up just right. Now, I'll show you the latest European model. This is from this morning's run of the European model. See the surface low there. We see a lot more of these lines showing up, so that's it rapidly deepening. It's probably going to bomb out, as we say, dropping by 24 millibars in 24 hours. Then going into Wednesday morning, tremendous wind here, very heavy snowfall rates across much of New England, and then it slowly lifts up. The whole thing sort of closes off and becomes vertically stacked, and it slowly then lifts up into New England. So it takes a long time to wind down. And there's a lot of model agreement. Here's the brand new run of the US GFS model. We just happen to have the old center right there. So that was the last run. And there's the new run, which is just a little farther to the left.
We're seeing more consistency between both of the models and bringing them closer to a consensus as well.
Absolutely. The GFS has been very consistent. European model a little less so, but now the European, as of this latest run, is pretty much where the GFS is too, with the new GFS being right in there. So, you know, there's some spread, and then when you run these ensemble members and you look at the different scenarios posed by the models within the family of GFS and European, then you do have slightly different tracks, and that track is really, really important. But on the broader points, is there going to be a very strong low? I think that is all but certain at this time. And there's a look at those ensemble members right there, and you can see all these different positions. So, you know, that would make a big difference. If it ended up being way out in here, then clearly we'd get less of an impact. If it was way over here, we'd get a little more rain right along the 95 corridor, but we do know that it's going to be a very strong storm. Right,
and so I'm really worried about the winds associated with this, because we've already had a lot of wind damage across parts of the Northeast. What kind of winds are we talking about?
Well, you know, I think we could be looking at 40, 50 mile per hour wind, maybe even stronger on the coast.
Spring type weather as well. So here's that storm that Kelly's on as we speak. This is Interstate 49 in Missouri. Here's the town of Jasper. We're getting many reports of hail, quarter size up to golf ball size. And when we see this high reflectivity like this, bright purple and some of that white, it's east of Jasper now where that large hail is coming down. These storms are tracking off towards the east. They're moving about 45 to 50 miles per hour. So hail can cause a lot of damage. If you're downstream of these storms, something to keep in mind, you want to get that car inside the garage or your carport or whatever you got. Hail hurts and can cause a lot of damage, so you need to stay inside and take these storms very seriously as well. Here we switch the radar over to be able to detect where some of the worst of the hail is, and it's detecting. Sometimes it overestimates it a little bit, but 3-inch in diameter. You only need an inch in diameter for it to be considered severe, so you can see that covers a large area of this very large hail, which continues to be an issue. As we take a look at the 3D mode, we're taking a look at that storm size, and you can really see the height of these storms. So a lot of lift and a lot of force in that updraft to help support that hail and continue to make that come down on the ground. So hail, likely the most common form of severe weather we're going to see over the next couple of hours, but some damaging wind possible as well. And we also can't rule out the threat of an isolated tornado or two. Springfield stretching over towards Jonesboro, and this big red area is where we have the greatest chance of seeing these severe thunderstorms, but still in the periphery you can see some action as well. So everybody needs to stay weather alert here today. So severe thunderstorm watch, just as of in this last hour, has been expanded into parts of Oklahoma and Kansas, as well as into Arkansas, including you in Fayetteville. This is where the watch is in effect until 11 o'clock tonight now. And then we've got a severe thunderstorm watch that covers about half almost of southern and southwestern parts of Missouri, including Branson as well as into Springfield. Now the Storm Prediction Center just putting out a mezzo statement that they're likely going to issue a new watch downstream within the next hour, and that would include the boot heel of Missouri and kind of stretching over, getting close towards the Memphis area. So we'll continue to track those storms as they push on through. So here's the latest radar picture on the big screen, and you can see all those storms lining up. So some of the same areas that got hit with hail may see another storm come back behind it. Keep it in mind. We also have a lot of lightning associated with these storms, so you don't even have to have the hail to cause problems. You want to stay indoors when thunder roars. So you can see the track of these hail makers that are moving just south of east right along the interstate. Here's the bigger picture as we watch these storms in motion and advance through the evening time hours for tonight and into the overnight. Look at them moving into Memphis after dark, 10, 11 o'clock at night. Nashville, you'll hear some rumbles of thunder very likely as well, and this is coming in as that cold front dives down towards the deep south. Atlanta, this may keep you up in the middle of the night, about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, over towards Birmingham and into northern parts of Mississippi as well. And then farther north, we're just looking at rain. We won't see as much convection with that, so we'll just be looking at some of those showers. And a lot of that will be done across the nation's midsection as we head into the early morning hours for tomorrow. As we head into Saturday, here's our next chance for severe weather. We think the biggest risk will be across parts of Texas. Again, hail, damaging winds, and maybe an isolated tornado from San Angelo to Abilene. Dallas and Waco may be included. We'll hear some rumbles of thunder into the lower Mississippi River Valley as well as our storm system tracks on off towards the east. Well, thanks for joining us. Weather Underground